Welcome to Cadasta, a free platform designed to help you collect, organize, and store information about the land and resource rights of your community. In this video, you'll learn about how to use XLS forms in your Cadasta project. Please note this video assumes some knowledge of Cadasta and how it works. If you need more information, pause here, then take a look at one of our demo videos. Otherwise, let's get started! XLSForm is a powerful form standard that can be created in Excel. It's incredibly useful if you need to collect data but don't want to create your own database. In this case, Cadasta uses the XLS form to create a database for you. Working with XLS forms, Cadasta has created 3 different form templates to start with, each one designed for a different use case. One use case is customary rights documentation. Here you're documenting one person or group of people per location. For this, you'd use the customary rights one-to-one form. Sometimes you need to document different people or groups of people who are using the same location. When documenting urban informal settlements, for example, many families may be living together in one building or small area. For documenting cases like these, you'd want to use the Urban Informal Settlements Many-to-One form. In other cases, a single person or group may use a lot of different locations. One example is smallholder farming, where one person or group of people is farming on multiple lots. For this, you'd want to use the smallholder farming one-to-many form. This one-to-many form is the one we'll be looking at today. No matter which form you're using, each one follows a similar structure. Each one has 3 main tabs: Survey, which shows all the survey questions you're asking; Choices, which lists all the choices that appear in multiple choice questions or drop-down menus; and Settings, which has some basic information about the form and its default language. We've also added a Reference tab to easily view compatible field types and syntax. Let's start with the Survey tab. Here on the left, you'll see a Tips column, which you can show or hide as needed. The questions are divided into 4 parts: mandatory fields, which gather some of the required metadata, like device ID; party information, for information about people using the location; location information, for collecting basic information like how the land is used or whether there's been recent flooding; and relationship information, describing the kind of relationship or tenure between the land and the people who use it. Any photos, videos, or audio collected are stored as project resources. There are also some important column headers you need to know about. Type defines the type of question it is, be it a text, date, integer, or multiple choice question. Name gives a database-readable name to the question. It must start with a letter and be made of letters, numbers, and underscores. Label is where you write the question you want to actually show up on the survey. You can add another label column for using a different language, indicated by its 2-digit ISO code. Here, ES means Español, or Spanish. To add another language, copy this column, paste it in a new row, edit the language code in the header, and then you can start translating line by line. Hint, an optional column, provides a hint for how to answer the question. This column indicates whether a question is required, and you can use this one to indicate a default selection for multiple choice questions. Relevant adds visibility logic. In other words, it allows you to show or hide questions based on an answer to another question. Visit our documentation for more detailed information about how this works. In this one-to-many form, we're collecting information about one person or group of people in relationship to many locations. To make that kind of data collection possible, we're using a repeat in the form. This allows you to repeat a section of questions, namely the geographic boundaries and location information, without having to start the survey all over again. In GeoODK, a repeat gives you a screen like this one. You have the option to repeat the section or not. Now let's take a look at the Choices tab. This is where you enter choices for your multiple choice survey questions. List name gives the set of responses a database-readable name. Name is the database-readable version of a possible answer, while label is what the user sees. If you're using multiple languages, you can provide translations in a column like this one, just like you could on the Survey tab. To get your multiple choice options to show up on the form, add the list name to the Type field in the Survey tab. For example, you can see spoken languages listed by Select Multiple on row 20. Finally, the Settings tab. Form ID provides a unique ID for this form. Make sure that you have a different ID for each of your Cadasta projects. Title is what shows up when you load this form to ODK or GeoODK. and default language shows the default language being used on the form, indicated by the 2-digit ISO code. Here, we've marked the default language as English. So that's the format of Cadasta XLSForm, but how do you modify the questions here to meet your specific documentation needs? To get started, we recommend taking a few important steps. 1. Choose your starter template form based on your use case. Are you documenting one group of people per location, or many different groups in a single location? Or how one group of people uses many different locations? Your answer determines which starter form will work best for you, the one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-one. 2. Prepare your questions. List out all of the information that you're trying to get from your documentation work. 3. Organize your questions. To work with the Cadasta platform, questions need to be organized into the following categories: location, parties or people, and relationships, also sometimes called tenure. Put each question in the category that fits best. 4. Figure out your question type. For each question, determine whether you're collecting a date, integer, or something else. Refer to our documentation or the reference tab for more information about which type to use. Finally, it's time to customize your form. Now you can get to work modifying existing questions or adding new ones. Any field with a gray or colorful background cannot be edited, but everything with a white background can. With those, you can add new questions, delete questions you don't want, and add, edit, or delete multiple choice options. When you're done, save your Cadasta XLS form, then use it to create a new project. Now that you know the basics, it's time for you to experiment with making a form of your very own. To play with our templates, visit our documentation and download the ones you want. There, you'll also find detailed documentation about how to use these forms, including troubleshooting tips. Of course, if you have any questions, reach out via info@cadasta.org. We're happy to answer your questions at any time.